Think we're up and rolling, folks. I hope anyway. Welcome to Prepper Nation. This is John. I pretty much have forgotten how to do this. Not that I was great at it to begin with. How's everybody doing? It's been 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. We'll get into it. Quickly, thank you, Adam T., who is going to be helping a brother out later today, or so I'm told, and uploading this for the folks on YouTube, and also to the moderators, Dynamite Bamagen, Kelly Rambo. Thank y'all for everything that you do. And also congratulations. This is why I'm filming this video. Congratulations, Tribe and Nisi. I just found out yesterday they have officially moved out of Maryland and they're homeowners. And something he said really struck a chord in a good way. And I said, you know, I've got to film a video about that, you know. And you would think, oh man, why aren't you filming videos every day? I've been retired for a few months now, you know, signed some papers, turned some stuff in, and cashed some stuff out. And your old boy is not working anymore. I mean, eventually I'll write a book or something, but I'm going to do it on my own time. And, you know, I'm going to be dropping content here on YouTube. That's not going to change, but just enjoying life, right? And you would think, oh man, you got all this time on your hands now. No, son. No, I didn't realize how much honeydew things there are around here to actually do. I've been enlightened by the wife though, so been staying busy with that. And folks, we've just been yard selling and flea marketing, looking for food truck rodeos, really no alibi in there. Estate sales. We go to, you know, produce markets, farmers markets, produce stands, things like this. We've just been having a time with it, to be honest with you. And I'm going to get back to Tribe's thing in just a second, or the thing he said that inspired me. But where have I been for the last, again, I don't even know. I think it's around 3.5 weeks. Well, I posted a video, and I think the topic, it's been so long, I don't even remember the topic entirely. I haven't, you know, I'm not on the internet, so I didn't go back and watch it. But, you know, I was talking about mainstream media, I think, and just how people are constantly living in fear. If I remember correctly, and they're constantly anxious and all this stuff. So after I filmed that, and I handed it over, I think it was to David at that point in time, because they alternate. They got jobs, bro. They got time to deal with an old man full time. So they take turns. But again, I appreciate both you gentlemen and James for downloading me stuff when I need it, because I'm tech illiterate. Caveman James. I just took my own advice. I took some of my own medicine and I unplugged, not only from the internet, again, not on it, from the news entirely. I've been completely out of the loop for 3 weeks since I filmed that video, 3-ish weeks. And I just plugged back in this morning to, you know, the news to find out what was going on, with 2 caveats. Number one, my daughter did tell me about the Pope I think the Pope had already passed when I filmed my last video, or right around that time. I knew about that, but she had told me, hey, there's a new Pope. I think he's from the United States or something. You know, I don't know the guy's name, not trying to be disrespectful, but again, I ain't been plugged in. And my wife was telling me about all of the tornadoes and things. I think they affected several states, but they hit, was it Kentucky, really bad. So prayers go out to those folks. We got thunderstorms really bad. My dogs were all shook up, son, but we didn't see any kind of tornadoes here. So anyway, getting back to Tribe's deal. He said, and he's talking about Nisi himself. He's here on YouTube, guys. Tribe, y'all can find him. I'll try to see if my boy can link him down below. But he's one of the good creators behind the scenes. He's always been a stand-up guy to me, and I respect that. And there are others too. but Tribe's always been cool to me. He said, we're happy. And I'm happy for him, number one. But when he said that, I said, he deserves to be happy. He and Niecy both, and everybody watching this. Again, this is why I'm doing the video. You deserve to be happy. And I guess it's a mishmash of where I've unplugged from mainstream media and stuff for several weeks. And then hearing him say he's happy, because honestly, I'm happy. Total zen right now. You think I'm upset? No. Let me tell you. Well, you didn't know? Zen, total zen, calm. I haven't had any kind of real stress in my life for the last 3 weeks, and I would like to think that's related. Okay, now there have been stuff around the house I'd really want to do. Hey, go clean this, go fix this, but it's not really stress. It gives you purpose around this joint. You know what I mean? So I found a calming place, and I believe it has to do with the rot that is mainstream media. And when I say mainstream media, all of as Backwoods, another stand-up guy, as Backwoods would always say, the Nutriters, the mainstream media Nutriters, the people that have channels that, you got to throw names out here. If you're watching one of these channels, they're constantly either parroting off mainstream media, or they consume the garbage and then they put their own spin on it for clicks. Y'all know, man. Y'all know when those little shanty wagons pull up with the snake oil. I mean, come on, nobody's fooled at this point. It does work, it gets clicks, whatever, but those little nut riders that just do nothing but help mainstream media, what are they helping them do? I'm going to explain that to you this morning. Okay, so we know that the people in DC are thieves. How many times have we said that here on the channel? DC is full of thieves. They're global thieves too, global elite thieves. But the folks in DC, they steal. I mean, that's all they do. That's all these people know how to do is lie, cheat, and steal. When I hear the term "Make America Great Again," this is not a shot at Donald Trump. I'm going to explain to you, because I think the phrase "Make America Great Again," number one, it's a great campaign phrase. But two, I think it means a lot of things to a lot of different people, okay? I don't know what it means for you. Some people might say, hey, man, the 60s were great. Well, kids were hiding under their desks waiting for the atomic bomb, so I don't know how great that was. I remember the Cuban Missile Crisis and hijacked planes and stuff back in the 80s, so the 80s weren't all that. I mean, you could keep going back. You hit malaria. You hit the Old West where people were expected to live 30 years or something. For me, America was truly great during the first 20 years when the experiment first got started, because we had extremely limited government, only a few hundred people working for the federal government. And I suspect that people had a sense of true freedom. Like they were carving their own path. What are we going to take this bowl of clay that is America? What are we going to transform it into? And it took the thieves and the swamp about 20 years. So a little history for y'all. I used to talk about Thomas Payne a lot on this channel. I did my college thesis on him, actually. Thomas Payne not only inspired the revolution, but he doesn't get a lot of credit, but he helped out with the Declaration of Independence and stuff like this, and the Constitution. He met several times with Jefferson. Jefferson was like the educated guy of his time. I think he had the first library and all of this, but although he was educated, he wanted to get Thomas Paine's opinion on things. How are people thinking? What do we need to do? What do we need to avoid? And Thomas Payne told him, he gave a lot of input on the important documents that founded this country. 20 years later, roughly, Thomas Payne said, we made a mistake. 20 years later, he regretted the revolution because he realized that America was just going to be as corrupt, if not more corrupt, than the country it just declared independence from. He saw the writing on the wall within 20 years. He could see the party systems setting up. He could see the swamp forming. He said, we screwed up, son. Now, that's not a direct quote. That's an old country boy putting his own spin on it. But, imagine a guy wearing a wig saying, we screwed up here, son. We done did something wrong. So the first 20 years, I think America was great. But getting back to the fact that they're thieves, listen, you don't need any better example than gold. Okay, gold is skyrocketing right now, and people can't understand why. Gold was made illegal to own at one point in time in this country. They offered you something better, right? They offered you pieces of paper that were backed by gold. So they took, not yours, we weren't here, but they took Americans' gold by force, by threat of imprisonment, and they handed them pieces of paper saying, your money's worth this amount of gold. And they ran with that lie for a while because, of course, it was a lie. If the money was worth gold, they wouldn't have had to steal gold. Okay? And then they switched you from that to the petrodollar. So now they're not even pretending that it's worth gold anymore. They just stole everybody's gold and put you on the petrodollar. And now that that is failing, they're putting you on the digital dollar. It's just one lie after another lie after another lie. These people are thieves. And I've backed away from the news quite a bit, and here's why. Because most of what I saw in mainstream media, I think I touched on this last time, I can't do anything about. Oh God, John, it looks like North and South Korea are getting ready to go to war. What are you going to do? I'm going to go watch, True Grit with John Wayne, son. What do you want me to do about it? You want me to throw the old replica helmet on here? Get the old vest out? Replica, it's a pellet gun. I got a rifle version too. And go over and solve the war? No, I'm not going to do that. Well, it looks like China may invade Taiwan. John, what are you going to do? Probably what I did this week. Go watch Gods and Generals. Excellent movie, by the way. Or rewatch Lonesome Dove. Or, go paint a room. Go stain a deck. Go to a produce market. Because I can't change any of that. You understand? Russia and Ukraine, I can't change that. I used to get so mad because we were sending all the money to Ukraine, and something finally clicked. It doesn't matter how mad I get, it's going to happen the way it's going to happen. There's literally nothing that I can do to change it. So why am I wasting my time? So these people have stolen our gold, they've stolen our wealth, and I realize they're stealing my time because it's starting to consume me. And we got to talk about the line this morning. I'm probably going to ask that the video be named something to do with the line. Where's the line? Where do we draw the line? Something like that. Between being normal preppers and being the fringe lunatics, because they exist. The people that stay plugged in 8 hours a day to mainstream media. And again, the countless snake oil salesmen out here that are parroting off mainstream media. All they're doing is helping continue the lie for clicks and money. And it's sleazy, but it is what it is. Where's the line? And I was starting to get so close to the fringe lunatic area that I actually saw the line. And I said, I'm not crossing that. I think there's a substantial difference in preparing for things like storms, job loss, short term or even a couple of weeks of electricity, the grid being down because of storms and severe weather, crises, excuse me, I'm going to act like a college student for a second, that might pop up in your life. These are real SHTFs, and they happen. You know, we have tornado season, we have hurricane season. The economy is jacked up. People are losing jobs. They're losing benefits. They're having to pick up maybe second jobs just to maintain a lifestyle, and that's putting a strain on relationships and stuff like this. This is stuff that I want to prepare for, because this is stuff that commonly happens. Other people are preparing for the end of the world, or the end of the world as we know it. Low battery. I'm not having that, son. Saying low battery. It's saying, shut up, John. Aliens. Another, shall we say, fake pandemic, you know, in order to crash the economy on purpose, my opinion. You know, let me know what your opinion is down in the comment section below. Zombies, nukes, things like this, they're prepping for the end of the world. And one of the things that I see, I love to see people preparing, okay? What are we doing right now, for example? I'm still hyper situationally aware when I'm out, because I realize we live in a really bad place, really bad times right now. My wife still enjoys canning, but she's getting into quilting. I think it's called patch quilting or something, where they're huge patches and stuff. She loves it. And is it prepping technically? I don't know. I would consider it some form of prepping. Do we have an extensive garden this year? Nah. Again, we've been going to farmers markets because we enjoy it, and we just buy the stuff there. We know the people by first name, stuff like this. A couple of them I know I could barter with if things went down, because they got an abundance of this and they're looking for this, that sort of thing. I still go through the rucksacks every so often and catch mistakes, but I love to hear people prepping practically. What I don't like, and what I've seen, I don't know, I could count, I need more fingers and toes throughout my lifetime. We'll go to estate sales, especially. Sometimes yard sales, but usually estate sales. And they'll just be like a wall of survival food. So as a prepper, you're immediately drawn. You know what it is. You're going over here checking the date on it, right? But then you start talking to the family, and they're like, yeah, Dad prepped for the end for 30 years before he passed. And I'm thinking to myself, how sad. How sad that somebody spent 30 years. It seems like a life wasted almost. 30 years of that person's life that they could have spent more time with family. They could have spent more time with friends. They could have spent more time bettering themselves in other ways. Again, I'm not trashing prepping. I get it. But some people go way overboard. They've crossed that line. You know, they literally live for the end in hopes that it happens so they can point and tell everybody, I told you so. I told you this was going to happen. And then they do it for 30 years and they pass on. You know what I mean? It's very sad. And what has happened in that case, I believe, is the thieves behind mainstream media, with the help of Nutriters, have not only stolen the wealth, they've not only stolen rights and things like we saw during the pandemic, but they've stolen this. This is the one thing you cannot let them steal, right? You can't let them steal this. Because here's the thing. People are wired differently, okay? I know I'm all over the place, son, but again, we're wired differently. People are wired differently in such a way that when something major goes down, most people panic. You know, they're running back and forth. You see it in movies and stuff. Oh my God, my wife's water just broke. What are we going to do? And they're crashing into trees and stuff. And occasionally people will step up and just calm everybody else down. Like, wait, calm down. Why? And this is what I'm trying to do this morning. Hopefully somebody's getting the message. Because irrational decisions are made when you are panicked, when you are afraid, when you live in a perpetual state of fear or perpetual state of anger. Okay, this is what mainstream media is doing to you. Companies have figured this out. This is how they're peddling their products. Irrational decision making. And all I'm doing this morning is I'm saying back away from that line. Don't make irrational decisions. Enjoy what you do. You know, if it's a family affair and you all enjoy preparing for the end of the world, who am I to judge? But if you're that hermit that's in a basement somewhere or a root cellar and your family's up here living their life, you might be wasting your time. Because what's the point in surviving the end if you aren't enjoying life now? Be happy. Everybody deserves to be happy. So, you know, I'll get off my soapbox now. My phone's like, hey, son, did you not hear the first message here? But yeah, I'm alive. I'm doing well over here. Thank you for all of the people that have left comments and said, I hear these comments. David or Adam tell me, you know, a lot of people are saying they miss you and stuff like that, and I appreciate that. I'll try and get content up again more often between the honeydew stuff, but school's out. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? You didn't know? School was out. My daughter in there, God love her, she said, Dad, are you getting ready to film? And I said, yeah, why? She said, you look like the guy from Blue's Clues. Steve, you dress like the guy from Blue's Clues. So I can't get no respect. It's like Rodney Dangerfield around here, son. I will try to get more content up. I haven't forgotten that I've got a channel and all this stuff. But God bless y'all for sticking it out until the end of the video. If you're already happy, God bless you. Try and make somebody else happy. Try and get them away from the fear porn, if you will. Y'all take care and God bless.